I had 3 hours to kill her. Instead, I made the worst decision of my life. I let her live. My name is Declan Mercer, and I don't do mercy. In my world, the hesitation gets you buried. But the second I saw Sloane Harrington standing in that empty warehouse, soaked from the rain and shaking like a leaf, something in me broke. She wasn't supposed to look at me like that. Like I was still human. Let me back up. 3 days before that night, my father, the head of the Mercer crime family, dropped a file on my desk. Inside was everything about Sloane Harrington, 24 years old, a photojournalist, daughter of the federal prosecutor who'd been building a case against us for 2 years. She'd been digging into places she shouldn't have been, asking questions that could destroy everything we'd built. Make it clean, my father said. Make it look like an accident. I'd done this before. Too many times. But I told myself they were different and that they deserved it. Drug dealers who betrayed us. Rival families who came for our territory. This girl. She was just trying to do her job. She didn't even know what her father was really up to, using her assignments to get closer to our operations. Still, I tracked her for 2 days. Learned her routine. Her favorite coffee shop. The way she bit her lip when she was editing photos. How she stopped to pet every stray cat she passed. That should have made it easier. Knowing she was real, vulnerable, human. In my line of work, it's easier to kill a stranger than someone you've watched laugh at their phone screen while waiting for the subway. But orders were orders. The night I was supposed to do it, I lured her to the warehouse under the pretense of a source who wanted to talk about police corruption. She came alone. Brave or stupid, I still haven't decided which. When I stepped out of the shadows, she knew immediately. I watched the color drain from her face as she recognized me from her research. She'd seen my photo, knew my name, knew what I was capable of. "You're Declan Mercer," she whispered. I pulled my gun. "You've been asking questions about my family. I'm a journalist. It's my job." Her voice shook, but she stood her ground. "Are you going to kill me?" I should have said yes. Should have pulled the trigger right then. But instead, I asked, "Do you know what your father is doing?" Confusion flickered across her face. "My father? He's a prosecutor. He puts criminals away." "He's a criminal himself," I said. "He's been taking bribes from the Volkov family, our rivals. Every case he builds against us. He's doing it to clear the way for them to take over our territory. You're just a pawn, Sloane. He's been using your journalist credentials to get you close to us, to gather information he can't get legally." I watched her process this, so the moment doubt crept in. "You're lying." "Am I?" I pulled out my phone and showed her the photos. Bank transfers. Secret meetings. Her father shaking hands with Viktor Volkov himself. Her hand flew to her mouth. "No. No, that's not. You've been in danger this whole time," I said, lowering the gun. "The Volkovs know you've seen things. Know you could expose them. Your father won't protect you, he'll throw you to the wolves to save himself." Tears streamed down her face. "Why are you telling me this?" "Good question. Why was I?" "Because you deserve to know the truth before you die." I raised the gun again, but my hand was shaking. This had never happened before. "Turn around." "No." "What?" "No." She stepped closer, those green eyes blazing. "If you're going to kill me, look me in the face while you do it. Don't be a coward." "A coward? Me? I'd killed 17 men and never lost sleep over it, and this girl was calling me a coward. She was right. I lowered the gun. "Go." "What?" I said go. "Run. Disappear. Change your name. Leave the country. I don't care, just go." She didn't move. "You'll be killed for letting me live. That's my problem, not yours. Declan. Go." I roared. She ran. I stood there in that warehouse for an hour after she left, trying to figure out what I'd just done. Trying to figure out how to explain this to my father. But when I got home, I found out I didn't have to. My father was dead. Shot in his study. The Volkovs had made their move while I was supposed to be handling Sloane, and now the entire family was in chaos. I became the boss that night. And my first order of business? Finding Sloane Harrington before the Volkovs did. It took me 3 days to track her down to a motel 2 states over. She nearly pepper-sprayed me when I kicked in her door. "What are you doing here?" she gasped, backed against the wall. "Saving your life." Again. I tossed a new passport and ID on the bed. "The Volkovs have a hit on you. Your father gave them your location." Her face crumpled. "My own father. I'm sorry." And I was. I knew what betrayal felt like. "Why do you keep helping me?" she asked. "You're supposed to be the monster in this story." "Maybe I'm trying not to be." She studied me for a long moment. "What now?" "Now? We take down both our fathers. Yours and mine's legacy. We end this war before more innocent people get caught in the crossfire. You want me to help you?" "You're the only one I trust," I admitted. Isn't that ironic? A small smile tugged at her lips. Deeply. The next 3 months were blur. Sloane and I worked together, gathering evidence against the Volkovs and her father. She used her journalism skills, I used my inside knowledge. We moved constantly, never staying in one place more than a few days. Somewhere between planning strategy and fighting for our lives, something shifted. I'd wake up to find her asleep on my shoulder during long car rides. She'd patch up my wounds after confrontations with the Volkovs men, her hands gentle in a way I'd forgotten existed. We'd argue about music and movies and whether pineapple belonged on pizza. It doesn't, and I'll die on that hill. She made me laugh. Me. The man who'd forgotten how. One night, holed up in a cabin in the mountains, I found her on the porch, staring at the stars. "Can't sleep?" I asked, sitting beside her. "Just thinking." She glanced at me. "About how strange life is. 3 months ago, you were supposed to kill me. Now you're the only person in the world I feel safe with." "Sloane. I'm not finished." She turned to face me fully. "I know what you've done. I know the things you're capable of. And somehow, impossibly, I've fallen in love with you anyway." My heart stopped. "You can't. Too late. I'm not a good man." "Maybe not," she said softly. "But you're good to me. And you're trying to be better. That's more than most people can say." I kissed her then, pulling her close like she was the only solid thing in my collapsing world. She kissed me back, fierce and desperate, like she'd been waiting for this as long as I had. "I love you," I whispered against her lips. "God help me, I love you." "Then let's finish this," she said. Together. The final confrontation came on a cold November night. We'd gathered enough evidence to take down the Volkovs and Sloane's father, but we needed to deliver it in person, to the FBI, to the media, to everyone. Victor Volkov and Richard Harrington, Sloane's father, met us in the same warehouse where this all began. They thought they were walking into a trap for us. They were wrong. As they arrived, Sloane triggered the live stream to every major news outlet in the country. I uploaded the files to the FBI secure server. By the time they realized what was happening, federal agents were already surrounding the building. "You betrayed your own daughter," Sloane said to her father, her voice steady despite the tears in her eyes. "I did what I had to do to survive," he spat. "No," she said. "You did what you did because you're a coward. But it's over now." The arrests happened fast. Victor, Richard, and a dozen others were taken into custody. Sloane and I had immunity in exchange for our testimony and the evidence we'd provided. It was over. 6 months later, Sloane and I stood on a beach in Costa Rica, watching the sunset. We'd both left our old lives behind. She'd quit journalism for photography, and I'd become something I never thought possible. A normal person. Do you miss it? She asked, placing her fingers through mine. The power. The danger. Not even a little bit, I said honestly. I only miss the person I was before I became that man. But you helped me find him again. She smiled, standing on her toes to kiss me. Good. Because you're stuck with me now. Promise. Promise. I'd been sent to destroy her. Instead, she'd saved me. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, I realized something. Sometimes the worst decisions we make turn out to be the best things that ever happened to us. My name is Declan Mercer. I used to be a monster. But the girl I was meant to kill taught me how to be human again. And I've never looked back.